What's up, everyone? Welcome back to yet another video. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome and welcome back. If you're new, my name is Kays and welcome to the coolest channel on YouTube. So today I'm going to be reacting to some of the woke TikTok videos that are going to raise your vibration and take you to a whole different dimension. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely keep on watching.
All of these networks here, they probably appear to be legitimate, right?
Yeah.
But they're not.
These are all fake networks?
They're all powered by me. So as soon as you connect to any of those, I have your password, I have anything in between. So that's one thing. That's just Wi-Fi.
And you just, oh man. So is this how people are stealing information?
This is one of many ways.
In airport.
In an airport? Oh yeah, I mean airport, Starbucks. When you, it's called a man-in-the-middle attack. So if I'm on the same network as you, I can essentially control the traffic, as if I was the modem or router. So instead of when you type google.com, instead of your computer telling the router you want google.com, you're telling my computer you want google.com, and I'm giving you what I'm telling you google.com is. So that would be called a DNS attack.
This is why I don't trust or use the public Wi-Fi.
Religious. Are you religious? Do you believe in something? Anything?
Yeah, believe in me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't
It's
believe
the
in
laugh
anything else?
for me.
Anything else?
Well, it's a religious thing. Like, is it in God, or is there something like that?
Well, you can separate God from religion, which is what I do. I believe in God. I believe in me. Same person.
And the greatest illusion that we have right now is being separate from God. Because, we have really been taught for a long time to be separate from God, and that is like a spiritual robbery, because God is one and the same person as you are,
So, quickly, I'm going to answer these two very important questions. What is truth? And how is it subject to evolution? Yeah, I'll start with the truth. According to the dictionary, truth is something that is acknowledged to be true. Which means that for something to be true or to be accepted as true, there must be an acknowledgement that this thing is true. Right? Okay, now let me tell you something. Truth is a quality. It is a quality. And this quality is universal. It is inherent in everybody. Deep down in our subconscious, we always know the truth about everything. But we just don't know how to find the truth. So, when a message drops somewhere, and if this message is true, once a message drops somewhere, every human being takes this message down to their subconscious to search for the corresponding truth. And if it is not corresponding, they will disagree, because human being is already made of truth. This universe is made out of truth and logic. So human being is logical and it's made of truth, the essence of us. So when I say truth is universal, I'm trying to say that when the truth drops somewhere, you don't need to force somebody to believe it. They will see that this is truth, unless it is not truth. It can only take time for them to acknowledge that this is truth. But if you have been trying this for over billions of years and it is not still acceptable, then you should be looking for a new truth. And that is where truth becomes a subject to evolution. I'll come to that now. How is truth a subject to evolution? Now let me tell you something. If John and Peter had a problem and then you weren't there when the event took place, but then John comes up to you to report about Peter and he told you, hey, bro, Peter beat me up. I didn't even do anything. I was just sitting down there, he just came around and then he beat me up. And you were like, why would John do that? Why would John do that? This is absurd. This is absurd. I'm very bad at Peter. Then you held out in your heart that, yes, Peter beat up John. Then only for you to meet with John, and then John told you his own part of the story. And then you see that, what Peter told me wasn't even really as it happened. What happened at that moment? You found a new truth. Yes, because you are made of truth, so you are going to compare what John has told you with what Peter has told you, and then automatically you are going to be able to discern truth. Even if the both of them are lying, you're still going to tell if the both of them are lying. If one of them is telling the truth, you're definitely going to know, because you are made of truth. This is what truth is. You don't need to force someone to accept the truth. The truth is universal. When it drops, people go just see and say that truth. Believe. You don't need to force them. They're already made of truth. Truth is an inherent quality of every human being that is existing in this universe. Truth is subject to evolution. I'll see you in my next video.
Wow, that really blew my mind.
So many people waste a lot of time with this so-called religious praying by trying to convince a God in the sky to do something for them or to give them something. Prayer is a positive mental transaction within your own mind. Prayer is a positive mental transaction within your own mind. And so as such, prayer is not even a religious exercise. Prayer is what you say to yourself within yourself. And to put it in the first person again, because I want you to be able to use this message. Prayer is what I say about myself within myself.
Somehow I feel like I've always known this, and honestly, like once you wake up, there's no going back. And I'm so glad that this is the age of Aquarius and so many people are waking up.
You guys remember when Kanye said this, then disappeared?
Not taking the responsibility as a man. That's why I say the song Closed on Sunday is the hardest record ever made, as hard as the NWA record, because it's talking about protecting your kids from the indoctrination of the media, the thousands and thousands of images that are fed to children by the age of 6 or 7. And within those images, there are images mixed in that we don't know about as parents that are purposely mixed in to lower the kids' superpower and esteem so that they can be more susceptible to consumption and feel that they need to consume and become a part of the robotic numeric system that controls so much of the media. I just had to say it like this. You can rewind it and then do research what I'm talking about.
Joel Austin's body language, says it all, right? And also, if you see the media labeling someone is crazy, then this person definitely says something that they don't want people to know, or they don't want it exposed, And for me, I just find Kanye so brilliant, and I'm so glad that he's sharing the truth with people.
Every night when you go to bed, there's a period just after you close your eyes and you're essentially disconnected for a moment. Your brain is operating in theta. Well, theta is hypnosis. You put a pair of earphones on at night, you play a program that you want to be true in your life. The moment you fall asleep, the conscious mind shut off, but the subconscious mind is now in record theta. So whatever is coming through the earphones at that moment after you fall asleep, you don't hear it, but the subconscious mind is hearing it and downloading it in a state of theta.
Facts. The subconscious is always listening.
The reason why spirituality is important is because it is reality. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Who I am and what I am is not my body. It's not even my personality. It's not the trauma I suffered. It's not what I've been through. That there is a little spark of the divine inside of me. There's hard data that shows around mental health and well-being that having serenity, meaning, purpose, a losing of oneself to a transcendent self of the divine increases greatly the quality of our lives. We're a part of something much greater and much more beautiful than ourselves, and in living in that state can greatly enrich your life.
If a person would sit down and let their body relax, totally relax, and then start to visualize in their mind, see themselves the way they want to see themselves, see how you'd like to live your life, see yourself living it that way.
Okay.
Now understand that that's a picture in your mind. Take that picture and describe it, write it out in the present tense. I am so happy now that I see myself, and write it out. Start to read it and read it and read it and read it every day. Carry it around and keep reading it. The one point that all the great teachers all down through history have all agreed on, they've been in complete unanimous agreement on it, we become what we think about. Now, it may be fantasy at first, it might even appear to us as being a lie. But if you read it often enough, you'll start to believe it.
Honestly, Bob Proctor changed my life. The law of attraction. Thoughts become things, and change your thoughts, and you basically change your reality.
There is no time. Well, there is no time anyway. But we're trapped in the concept. Time is an illusion. And they said we are probably the only species in the universe has found a way to measure something that does not exist. This is the beginning of everything. You're living in the most exciting time in history, more than you could possibly imagine. This is the greatest time to be alive right now, and you did choose to be here. So what we're going to go over is the whole process that led us up to this point. And a lot of this is in my new book. I wrote 2 books last year. It was the first time I ever did 2 in 1 year. One of them was The 3 Waves of Volunteers, and then The Convoluted Form. But the theories that I'm going to tell you have taken many years to put together, from pieces of puzzles, until finally it began to make sense. These people are telling me something that is following a pattern. This can't be gotten through one person. It comes through many. So I began to see patterns developing in my work. And that's what I began putting these theories together about.
At the greatest time ever, the age of Aquarius, where information is just everywhere. I'm so grateful that I get to experience this moment.
There's this theory about the universe that might actually blow your mind. What if the universe is a conscious being just like we are? Each one of us has around 40 trillion conscious cells that make up our body. And just like that, what if we are some of the conscious cells in the body of the universe which make the universe conscious itself? Part 2 coming up soon because this theory gets a lot deeper.
Facts. We are the universe. I am you, you are me, and we are infinite at the same time. As above, so below, as within, so without.
This is where humans are headed within the next 5 years. Let's go. At this moment in 2023, we've already had disclosed that craft not originating from Earth has been in our skies for a very long time and was kept secret out of fear of panic within the masses. We also know that OBEs or astral projection is real, as it's now becoming a common fact and was disclosed in CIA documents. The whole planet now is being given knowledge kept by the government in preparation for a mass disclosure of everything. We are being prepared to mess with the rest of galactic society that has been waiting for this moment, and then we will have first contact with the Galactic Federation and then mesh our society with their societies. We will then become galactic citizens and have access to the mass knowledge of the universe and interact with other beings who want to share their knowledge openly with us as well. Let's get this straight, there will be no more money, all egotistical leadership will be gone, and all humans will see each other as one because we realize we are one species and regarded as one species. We will also have to change our history textbooks to mesh in galactic history and who we really are in our true history of the planet, as well as adapting our culture, religions, our sciences, as now we know the truth and we have to tell the truth. The planet will be healthy and we will be healthy in return. So if you're ever in a bad mood, just remember that we're on the brink of the biggest moment in human history.
I mean, I really can't wait for it already. It seems to be so exciting.
Welcome to Mushroom Boot Camp, episode 1. My backyard was getting redone and I decided it was time to do the same for myself. So I took these. When I tell you I'm a very analytical person, I mean it. I feel like I was missing something important, and I was guided to mushrooms. Yo, when it started to kick in, it was heavy, bro. I didn't just feel super light and my pupils were really dilated, but it was telling me secrets and showing me what I was doing wrong. All I wanted to do was journal at this point and reorganize my life. I made a smoothie because I wasn't really that hungry and it felt really good. I realized I was still looking at how others perceived me, my content every day, even though I was confident in it. I had to let go of basing how good me my content was doing based on the human standards of this planet. If you came here to change the standards, you have to label your own way as normal. After this, I felt this huge pull to go on an adventure, and I knew it was for a reason when I looked at the clock and it was 5:55. I wondered why I was dressed so dark and warrior-like like I always do, so I changed into some brighter clothes, and once I put on my Moldavite, I was ready to go. I usually wear boots, again, my warrior-like wardrobe, and I decided for the first time to wear something else. I saw how my backyard was being demolished and put back together again, and I knew I had to do the same in my life. I was ready this time for real. Kids have always been really drawn to me since I was little, and I always used to get bullied because of this, but now I was embracing it even more, and this little girl was funny as hell. I started to see the truth that showing who you truly are to the world is true strength.
I don't know where I'm going, y'all. I'm just out here.
Nobody can show you the way, and nobody can protect you other than yourself, and nobody can truly set you free. You need to claim your own freedom, and the mushrooms were showing me this.
All right, y'all, so one thing I noticed is that I'm questioning everything. All stuff. You know what, let me fix my hair, because it's the camera. I guess it's another discovery, and they always say don't go out when you're on mushrooms or post when you're on mushrooms. I'm doing the opposite because I want you guys to see what growth really looks like, and the rawness of growth, and how it's not like how they say it's hard, it's ugly, but it's also beautiful with how ugly it is.
Every time I would lie to myself or hide, it would say, look, you're hiding again, and it would pull me right back, and I realized how true strength is rawness and how dirty growth is, and no way is it pretty. Now I see it's never going to be perfect, and never will I be perfect, but I am me, an original. And nobody could copy an original. Next up is episode 2. Let's go.
I mean, facts, that was one interesting story, but honestly, you can't be someone else. You can only be yourself. And yeah, you just, it's impossible to be someone else. You can only be nothing but yourself. And the earlier you embrace that, or the quicker you embrace that, the better, because I mean, the universe is yours. You're gonna make the most out of it.
This is witchcraft. The Zambito are the voodoo spirits of the night. They take possession of 9 living objects and start dancing to the sound of the African drum. And I know what you're thinking. There must be a person inside, right? Well, the Zambito are built in front of the crowds. The Zambito will sometimes open itself, and they are turned upside down to prove to everybody that there's no one inside. Zambito are destroyed, and some of them are set on fire. But how is this possible? This is what they found. During one of the Zambito festivals, the person inside the Zambito tripped, revealing a secret. Turns out, the Zambito are not empty. They have thick walls that hold a skinny person. When the Zambito was turned over, you can see a bump. And even when the Zambito was dismantled, there are thick parts where a person can hide. And when the Zambito tripped, the mystery was finally solved. But what about the spinning dancing Zambito? Well, the Zambito walk on 2 feet, and they hold a stick that they use to spin and give the impression that their whole body is spinning.
Whoa, that changes everything I believe about the West African magic, because this ritual has been there for years and years. So it being exposed now, I don't know how to feel about it, honestly.
So what is the truth about weed? Cannabis is a spiritual plant that has a frequency of its own, and how it affects you depends on how you vibrate as an individual. If you vibrate lower than the plant, it makes you feel good, sleepy, and very calm. If you vibrate higher than the plant, it magnifies your subconscious, making you paranoid, anxious, and all the hallucinations. All the chemicals found in weed, from THC, CBD, GBN, etc., are all produced naturally by humans. So we have the capabilities of taking ourselves where weed takes us without using weed. Why am I telling you this? Weed has its male and female on 2 different plants, and the plant that we use to get high is usually the female one. But due to science, she has been tampered with, She is no longer natural. She is sexually starved. If you know biology, you know what I mean. So most people have no idea what they are smoking these days. And I will tell you one thing. If it does not come directly from a natural plant or a natural animal, don't consume it.
Something that most people don't know, I also didn't know this a while ago, whether you're a weed smoker or not, our bodies does produce the same properties as the cannabis. And that's something that we can never be taught in school because they don't want us to have this kind of information, you know, for their own benefit. We produce these properties on our own, so weed is just an amplifier.
The same God that made the moon and the sun and the rivers made me. That God don't make no mistake.
You speak of the universal God, the power of the universe. Are there things that we can do to tap into that power?
You're born into it. It's like you're born with $10 billion in the bank, but they told you it wasn't there. It's still there. They can't steal it. They can use it as long as you don't know you have it.
Why is it that so many of us are still in the dark about this?
Why wouldn't you be in the dark? You've been trained to be in the dark. Well, I need somebody to tell me I am somebody, because I don't know I am. And so when you stop and you think, it's here. Here, you was born with it.
Wow, that was amazing. Like, it's all in the mind. Everything is how you perceive it. You are really trained to be in the dark, but it's time to unlearn all the lies that they've told us. And that's why I'm here. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you can get notified every time I post this kind of content. Let's wake up together.
Indigenous and Aborigine people, we live according to something called animism. Well, in the Western world, we're taught that there's animate and inanimate, living and non-living. Animism perceives, understands, or believes that there is no non-living. It all lives, everything, because it is only part of that which is and always has been. We don't believe that there's literally any time of creation, nor will there be literally any time of destruction. It's all cyclic. And so because of that, we're at peace. We have an inner sense of peace and unity with everything. There's no death, there's only change. There's no birth, there's only change. Now, I use physics to try to explain this to the Western world. And there I use the first law of thermodynamics, which says that matter or energy can never be created or destroyed, but only transformed. E = mc squared. All matter is energy, and all energy is matter. And if neither can be created or destroyed, but only transformed, then when does it cease to be? When did it ever begin to be?
We never are born to die, we just change form, because energy cannot be destroyed, it can only change form, you know.
Women, did you know that if you can't figure out where you are emotionally, the phases of the moon can help you figure that out? Let me explain. To be a woman is to be a man that has a womb man. And to have a womb is to be a creator. Meaning you have unique energies that are specific to you that you come here on earth to use to create your own life. These energies are called emotions, energy in motion, and they are the ones that create your authenticity. The phases of the moon that you menstruate with are a direct reflection of where you are emotionally as a woman. The moon gains energy in the process called waxing, and the moon loses energy in the process called waning. This is the natural process of breathing in and breathing out. So, if you bleed with the full moon, your emotions or energy in motion are in the battlefield. It means you are at a point where you are fighting to create space for the authentic parts of your existence. To bleed with the full moon means you are healing and releasing everything that is blocking you from blossoming. If you switch from the full moon to the new moon, it means that the battle that you were previously fighting in the full moon has now been lost and you are taking time to recharge. This is the time you take action in order to expand those authentic parts of yourself that you are fighting for during the full moon. If you bleed with any waxing moon, it means that your emotions are at a place where they are setting intentions for your authentic self. You are attracting things that boost your authenticity and personal development. If you bleed with any waning moon, you are being called to get rid of bad habits and unhealthy relationships or break generational cycles, of which, if you agree, you will switch to the new moon where you get recharged and then you set intentions so that you get into the battlefield to fight for the authentic parts of yourself. The full moon is the battlefield where you fight for your authenticity. The new moon is the socket where you go to recharge after the fight. Instead of using calendars to track your periods, start using the phases of the moon because they will tell you where you are emotionally.
As above, so below, as within, so without.
Jogging is not physical fitness. Weightlifting is not physical fitness. Physical fitness is, first your heel got to touch the ground. So if you're on a bicycle, that don't count. If you're walking up steps, that don't count. The heel got to touch the ground. If you're running, what is running? When both your feet is off the ground at the same time, it could be 1/10 billionth of a second, that's running. Now what happens then? Because of gravity pull, anytime both your feet is off the ground at the same time, which is called running, when your feet hit, it sends 2.5 times your body's weight up your legs, to your knees, up to the spine, and sends shock waves to the brain, which damage it. And so walking. Now, walking in the evening don't count. In the morning, when you lay down in bed and go to sleep, the grease in your bloodstream comes up to the top. If you go out and walk vigorously, don't start off that way, but you have to walk to the point that you're just tired and sweating and you push all it out. Now, what you will notice even joggers, if joggers go out and run, the day they take off, they get very irritable around 10 o'clock. That's when that grease starts moving back into the bloodstream.
This is the man who went down in history as the person who invented education. Just like most people think that civilization started in Europe. Well, it did not. Civilization started in Mesopotamia and the Great Kemet of Africa. Then later on, about 1200 BCE, was when civilization was reaching the Central America, the modern-day Mexico. So there is no way a white man would have invented education when the first university in the world, the University of Timbuktu, was located in Africa. The University of Timbuktu was established by Mansa Musa, who was a Malian empire and the richest man in the world by that time. Subjects like philosophy, cultural studies, language studies, advanced African grammar were mandatory, while subjects like history, algebra, physics, medicine, chemistry, arithmetic, and astronomy from the Dogon people were totally optional. Students who did complete the course of study received clothes, blocks of salt, livestock, and money as gifts upon their graduation. Graduation ceremony consisted of wearing a white garment while riding a white horse towards the university.
The white people banned most of the books throughout history and rewrote their own and shove it down all the education system so that they can control people, And looking at Mansa Musa, I think he's still the richest man to date, and I don't think no man would ever beat that. And most probably he was rich because he was very well conversant with the astrology, and everything literally basically started in Africa.